Hi folks, Aaron Dorr here from AaronDorr.com. And having done and been involved in state politics for almost a decade now, I can tell you that my favorite time of year, politically speaking, on the 2-year political cycle is not legislative season. It's not coming to the Capitol and talking to politicians. It's not all the hubbub that goes on, the buzz as the new session begins. For me, the juice is all about the election cycle. That's where you and I get to have untold amounts of fun punishing politicians for their actions against our bills, against our freedoms, our rights in the previous 2 or 4 years in elected office. Having done this for a number of years now, we're going to give you some tips and some steps you should take in order for your organization's election program, whether that's going to start in 2 weeks or in 2 or 3 years. But understand this. When you get involved in politics, if your organization does not have in mind, first and foremost in their minds, how is this all going to relate to the election cycle? If you're not working on bills with a goal towards punishing politicians who vote against them in the election cycle, if you're not raising money to use in the election cycle, if you're not identifying supporters who you can talk to and educate in the election cycle, you are wasting your time. Politics is mostly about introducing your bills, having them be slaughtered by those in the majority initially, using the results of those votes at election time to recycle the legislative chamber and trying again. That takes time, which again, your primary focus needs to be how are we going to do our election program? That being said, here's some steps you can take for your organization. It's in order of least expensive, least complex, on to perhaps more complex. First of all, for your organization, you should be using Facebook at election time. Now, everybody knows how to use Facebook. Most folks don't. Most folks are idiots when it comes to the proper use of Facebook. Your organization's Facebook page should not be filled full of whiny rants about why this politician is bad or why you don't like this politician. Rather, it should be at election time filled full of high quality memes and images with their face on it, with their phone number on it, saying call Senator so-and-so and tell him to apologize for his vote against your bill. And it should have his home number on there. It should have more information in the comments section above or below. That kind of stuff is effective. You can also take Facebook videos. Maybe you come to the Capitol and cut one like I'm doing right now in the State House, and you broadcast that at election time. And again, you can highlight all of the details, all the bills they voted against, all the dates they did it, the amendment numbers, all those details, and you can broadcast that out there in those districts. So again, if you're going to do Facebook like that, make sure it's worth a dang. Dates, details, bill numbers, pithy stuff that your members and other people can see and know that you have the actual information on where this guy stands. So use Facebook and use it well. And of course, if you're going to do that, you should be boosting your post, obviously. You can do it by zip code, so you only hit areas where they live, and you can target based on your issue. So you identify people who care about your issue in that district so you're not wasting your organization's money. Number 2, you should have an active email program going on. Your overarching goal throughout your political career should be to grow your list of supporters, whether that's email, direct mail, Facebook, and more. So at election time, you have a big list of folks you can go to in that district and give them the same information you would in a Facebook video. Your organization should be trying to grow those lists in those districts in advance if you know you're going to be out there in 2 or 4 years in the election. For example, I had the privilege of working for gun rights organizations. So we know where we're going to be in 2 or 4 years based on what's happened in the State House. We will focus our gun show program on those districts in the 2 or 4 years in advance of that. So come election time, we have the biggest email list possible of gun owners in those districts. So email program is number 2. And with email, don't make it some very dry, boring, or kind of a whiny thing. Again, it's objective. It's dates, numbers, bill numbers, amendment numbers, lots of specificity, and tell them who to call to hold them accountable for their bad votes on your issue. Number 3 for your organization, if it's legal in your state, would be robocalls. Robocalls are quick, they're efficient, they're very effective most of the time if your state laws will allow for them. Now in Iowa, where I live, we can do them all day long. In Minnesota, north of where I'm at, right across the border, it's a very, very big no-no and a criminal violation. So check your state laws, but robocalls work well if it's legal in your state. Number 4 would be a direct mail program. If your organization can afford it, direct mail is a devastatingly powerfully effective tool to get lots of detailed information into the hands of your members and others who care about your issue. Direct mail is step number 4. Step number 5, if you still have resources in your budget for your election program, would be radio ads. like your Facebook post, like your direct mail work, radio only works if it's actually effective, if it's gripping, if it's gritty, if it's attention grabbing, if it has dates and numbers and a voice that has some inflection and some depth to it. You don't want to have a very whiny sounding radio ad. You're going to waste your money. So radio ads, if they're done right, can be very effective as well. And last but not least would be TV ads. Taking your radio ads and setting those to a video allows you to get your stuff seen by massive numbers of people in short order. Now, granted, they're not all supporters of your organization or of your issue, so you would do this towards the end. It is expensive. But pound for pound, TV ads are very effective if, again, they're written the right way and getting people's attention and knowing just what this legislator did in the previous 2 or 4 years. Don't forget side projects, things like literature drops in districts, going house to house, passing out voter scorecards, informing and educating folks as to where this incumbent stands. You can also go to campaign events. If the incumbent is so nice as to have a public event open to anybody to come out there and ask him questions, feel free on behalf of your organization to go out there, have a camera crew there in tow, and ask him publicly, why did you vote against this issue in the last couple of years? There's lots of ways you can disrupt their events. I don't mean to be uncouth or to be stupid about this. I mean, if you can get up there and ask a very serious question in front of lots of his voters, that is very effective use of your time. So again, Facebook, email, robocalls, direct mail, radio ads, TV ads, in that order. If you only get through 2 of them this election cycle, that's fine. Have a plan to get to steps 3 and 4 perhaps next time. Again, overall, if you don't have a plan towards holding them accountable at election time, you're wasting your time and you shouldn't even begin.